Good morning. Can everybody hear me okay? I don't see any objections. Hi, everybody out there on Zoom land. My name is David Wilson, and I think most of you here know who I am. My wife and I and our son have been members of this church since we moved here back in 2012. And I was born into a multi-generation Unitarian family who originally were up in Wellesley, I think going back late 1800s. And I'm proud of that. Been a lot of changes in the UU Church. I'm going to say welcome again to our First Parish Unitarian Church in Bridgewater. This morning we are pleased not to have a guest minister, but a guest musician, Ashley. And I hope I've heard her. It's great. And before we begin our time of worship, we have some announcements. And I've had one announcement handed to me, and that's good. I'll go on to something else. This afternoon is a chamber music concert at the UU in Middleborough Unitarian Church. And admission is free, not $1,000, no. If anyone would like a ride, Eileen, who sits in the middle there, is heading that way, and she can take up to 2 or 3 people with her. Please see her at coffee hour. All right. And as you probably know and have heard us say many times, we always are looking for people to get involved with the various committees, projects that we're doing around the church. And if you are interested, would you please let either our president, she's not here, I think she is gone already, but our minister know about that, or send a note to First Parish Church website, and Paul will pick that up. We are looking for people to continue to help us out, and I know some of you have been doing it forever. It's exhausting, and we still need your help. Thank you. Next. First Parish is a welcoming congregation. We proudly fly the rainbow flag to symbolize our welcome to all people of all identities, ages, and backgrounds. If you are new to First Parish, we hope you enjoy your experience this morning. We encourage you to fill out the guest book in the back as you came in. You can go back and put your name in it. And that'll allow us to send you emails and let you know what's going on in the church. For newcomers joining online through Zoom, please see the sign-up link in the chat. Okay, that'll be on your screens in the chat. We invite all who are here in person to join us after the service for a time of fellowship in the upper parish hall, which is out those doors and up the few steps. And there's coffee and could be a couple of snacks. This service is being hosted on Zoom. It is being recorded and will be played on Bridgewater Cable TV for YouTube. You can find the link to the YouTube video in our weekly newsletter, Weekly Bridging. The recording camera is turned off to protect your privacy during the sharing of joys and concerns. In the event of an emergency or an evacuation drill, hope not, please leave the building through the main sanctuary doors. It's the one you can go out any one of these 3 doors and out the big doors. Or, if you need to, out through these 2 doors and make an extreme left, and then a left again. You'll see a door to the outside with the ramp. You are all welcome here, and thank you for joining us. Your presence makes a difference. We will now begin our time of worship with the prelude.
Good morning. I think that'll work. Great. My name is Ashley Mulcair. I'm the guest musician this morning, and I think I'm gonna scooch over a little bit because the sun is in my eyes. Thank you so much for your patience. We're going to start with a song called The Story, because the theme of the month is stories. All of these lines across my face tell you the story of who I am. So many stories of where I've been and how I got to where I am. But these stories don't mean anything when you've got no one to tell them to. It's true, I was made for you. I climbed across the mountain tops, I swam all across the ocean blue. I crossed all the lines and I broke all the rules, but baby, I broke them all for you. Because even when I was flat broke, you made me feel like $1,000,000, yeah you do. And I was made for you. You see the smile that's on my mouth, it's hiding the words that don't come out. And all of my friends who think that I'm blessed, they don't know my head is a mess. No, they don't know who I really am, and they don't know what I've been through like you do. And I was made for you. All of these lines across my face tell you the story of who I am. So many stories of where I've been and how I got to where I am. But these stories don't mean anything when you've got no one to tell them to. It's true that I was made for you. Oh yeah, well it's true that I
Next. That was beautiful. Thank you. Rosemary is going to be our chalice lighter this morning. And there's a candle right next to her. And on the screen, if you'll join me. Ready? We light
This chalice to mark this sacred hour as we gather in this beautiful, historic sanctuary, both in body and in spirit. We connect to the many generations that have come here to explore the divine. Let us join our hearts and find the holy in our relationship to each other. It is time to share worship together.
Okay. And if you would, if you can, please rise and let us join in our voices for the affirmation of our covenant. And we're going to have to do this a cappella. So, for those of you who have a good sense,
It's gift. This is a great covenant to dwell in peace, to speak the truth in love, and to help one another.
now we do the aspiration.
From all that dwell below the skies, let songs of hope and faith arise. Let peace, goodwill on earth be sung through every land, by every tongue.
Great.
Good morning, everyone. It's good to see you all here. It feels like the first real Sunday since the Christmas season that I've gotten to preach, and it's a joy and a sadness that Christmas is over. Our Soul Matters theme this month is story, and we'll start exploring that this week and continue next week. Our opening words today are by Reverend Scott Taylor. He writes, "Kids, you heard this last week, so you know this one. We gather as a house of stories. As we learn of those who have gone before, the way in front of us becomes clearer. As we weave together our individual tales into a common story, our loneliness lessens and the ever-present web of our oneness is revealed. As we listen deeply to each other's difficult stories with tenderness and trust, we descend into the longings and learnings, the hopes and fears, the humanity we share. Beneath the wells from which we drink, there is a deeper well that feeds them all. Come, let us tell each other tales of our thirst. Let us drink from the stories that sustain us." Ashley's going to lead our opening hymn about bringing what you have to bring to community.
All right. We're going to learn this one by ear. So the words are, forget your perfect offering. Forget your perfect offering. Just sing the song that you can sing. There is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. So this song is based on lyrics by Leonard Cohen and was composed by some scrappy, folky composers. So we don't actually know who wrote the song, but the lyrics come from Leonard Cohen. So I think you've sung this before. Yes. Yes, let's all rise to sing. Great. It's like this. Forget your perfect offering. Forget your perfect offering. Just sing the song that you can sing. Just sing the song that you can sing. There is a crack in everything. There is a crack in everything. That's how the light crack in everything. There is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. 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 Forget your perfect offering. Forget your perfect offering. Just sing the song that you can sing. Just sing the song that you can sing. There is a crack in everything. There is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. 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 Very nice.
All right, good morning, everyone. Today I have a story for all ages, but I have to say, if you want to see the pictures, please come forward and sit in this pew, and I will show you the pictures. Anyone of any age, but particularly our shorter friends, David? Yeah, okay. All right. So this is a book called Everything Possible, and it was written by Fred Small and Allison Brown. And Fred Small is a Unitarian Universalist. And so I want to share this with you. We have cleared off the table, the leftovers saved, washed the dishes, and put them away. I have told you a story and tucked you in tight at the end of your knockabout night. As the moon sets its sail to carry you to sleep over the midnight sea, I will sing you a song no one sang to me. May it keep you good company. You can be anybody you want to be. You can love whoever you will. You can travel any country where your heart leads, and know I will love you still. You can live by yourself. You can gather friends around. You can choose one special one. And the only measure of your words and your deeds will be the love you leave behind when you're done. Some children grow up strong and bold, while some are quiet and kind. Some race on ahead, some take it slow, some go in their own way and time. Some women love women, some men love men, some leave every label behind. You can dream all the day, never reaching the end of everything possible you'll find. Don't be rattled by names, by taunts, by games, but seek out spirits true. If you give your friends the best part of yourself, they will give the same back to you. You can be anybody you want to be. You can love whoever you will. You can travel any country where your heart leads, and know I will love you still. You can live by yourself. You can gather friends around. You can choose one special one. And the only measure of your words and your deeds will be the love you leave behind you when you're done. The end. Ashley's going to play a little bit of that song for us, and you can go to Kids in the Kitchen, okay? Because that's our class today.
You can dream all the day, never reaching the end of everything possible for you. I did the wrong key. You can be anybody you want to be. You can love whomever you will. You can travel any country where your heart leads, and know I will love you still. You can live by yourself, you can gather friends around, you can choose one special one, and the only measure of your words and your deeds will be the love you leave behind when you're done. Will be the love you leave behind when you're done.
Time for joys and sorrows. I got to read the list. I got to find the script. Now is the time in our service for the sharing of joys and sorrows. These matters of great personal significance that touch us, our families, and our loved ones. If you have a joy or sorrow, please come up to the front and I'll help you get your candle lit. And please keep your sharing a bit brief so we're not here all day, but we want to hear what you have to say. You may also choose to light your candle in silence. Online participants, the Zoom people, can type in the chat their sharing, and we have a volunteer, Lori, here today, who will share that with us in the sanctuary.
Let's take a deep breath together and hold those words. In and out. And however feels good to you, find your body here in this space. That might mean focusing on your breath or putting some pressure into your hand. Whatever makes you feel present here, right now, together in this time of worship. There is so much pain and sadness in our country right now. The wildfires in Los Angeles have displaced thousands and thousands of people from their homes, and at least 11 people have died. In this time of climate catastrophe, we know that we are all a stroke of luck away from being a refugee, a stroke of luck away from losing our own home. As a Californian myself, fire is a reality we live with out there, and it doesn't become any easier the more frequent it gets. It becomes harder. Today, I want to say a prayer of thanks for all of the helpers of humanity, all of the helpers who have banded together to provide mutual aid in this time of catastrophe, the folks who have stood on their neighbor's lawn with a hose, the organizations that are taking donated masks and giving them to those most vulnerable to lung damage from wildfire smoke. I'd like to say a prayer of thanks to the incarcerated firefighters, more than 800 of them, who are risking their lives without their freedom. This is a prayer of thanks for those who come from far and wide to our aid in a natural disaster, Canada, Mexico, many states on the West Coast. It is remarkable. we also hold the joys and sorrows in our own hearts through this time. Those things that are sitting heavy with us or lifting us up. And it's important to give voice to those, because a joy shared is brighter and a sorrow shared is a little less heavy. Spirit of life, allow us to be here together in peace, in prayer, and in gratitude. Help us hold one another with love and witness one another's stories. And help us to find the tenacity to move forward in this broken world, because it is not easy and we cannot do it alone. Let's sit together for a moment of prayer or contemplation. Amen, and blessed be.
Let's sing together. We'll remain seated for a musical meditation. From you I receive. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live.
We've been moving the microphone so that Ashley can see what she's doing, because the sun was so bright. All right, everybody, now is the time that we invite you to generosity. And I do have a script in here for that. Each Sunday, we collect an offering to support the ministries of this church and the mission of a community organization that shares our faith values. This month, contributions to our collection plate are being shared with Betty. Who are we sharing with this month?
It's right there.
Oh, Mass Peace Action, MAPA. Thank you. You may also donate online through the First Parish website. This morning's offering will now be given gratefully and received.
Ciel not
What a treat. Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Denise. It's a joy. Our reading today is from Scott Taylor, who wrote our opening words as well. And this is a poem called Wooed into the World that I love. Who dreamed you into being? What stories sat in their heart as they imagined what you would become? Who helped you imagine your story? Who helped you see your place in the world? And what maybe matters the most, who helped you understand that you could be the author of your own unfolding? All of which is a way of asking, who listened? Who listened until you could hear yourself speak, until you trusted the voice that is your own? And now that you know what it is like to have the tale of yourself be heard into being, how might you midwife the story of another into existence? You know the kind of stories I'm talking about, those kept in cramped spaces of silence, for fear of how hard and narrow this world of ours can be. Who needs your listening so their story can be set free? Whose story needs to be held in your heart so it knows that it is worth entering the world? We say it is about listening, but really it is about love. It is through affection that our stories are born. They are wooed into the world. Never forget that. Nor this. It is through loving the stories of others and the stories of our own that we discover that they love us back. So may it be. Ashley's going to sing a song of her own now. And one of the ways I love experiencing stories is hearing Ashley turn them into songs. And so here is one from her.
I'm following my nose. The path appears as we walk it. We'll know which way to go. Can't go too far wrong. I mean, look at all this. Look at all this, what a gift, what a gift. The world is a miracle I want to fall back in love with. This is a prayer, if you're there, could I carry me in, salt water on my skin. I'm coming home. Close my eyes while you drive. Sometimes it's just time to go. Look at all this, what a gift, what a gift. The world is a miracle I want to fall back in love with. This is a prayer, if you're there, could I find more of this? It's the road, it's the sky, it's that look in your eyes, it's the touch, it's the kiss, it's the pocket of lint, it's the scrape on your knee, it's the knock on the door, it's the no, it's the yes, it's the kid in the store, it's the road, it's the sky, it's that look in your eyes, it's the touch, it's the kiss, it's the pocket of lint, it's the scrape on your knee, it's the knock on the door, it's the no, it's the yes, it's the kid in the store. Look at all this, what a gift, what a gift. The world is a miracle I want to fall back in love with. This is a prayer, if you're there, could I find more of this? Look at all this, what a gift, what a gift. The world is a miracle I want to fall back in love with. This is a prayer, if you're there, could I find more of this?
Thank you, Ashley. What a gift. My family, like many, this is the second page of my sermon. No, it's the first page. Okay, my family, like many, has a lot of stories. We have stories about how my grandparents came to know one another. Those are important. We have stories about hard times and fearful times and brave choices. I think every family has stories about what success looks like, stories about how to be in the world politely, and stories about the relationships between family members. Sometimes these stories are beloved, held close to us turned over and over like a stone in our hand. And sometimes they sit in the background of our lives tensely, persistently reminding us of something that we don't believe anymore. Expanding our points of views through our lives changes us. And stories, from books or music or television, I'm a believer in the storytelling power of television, can open up a new world. It can change our perspective. It can let us reflect on the stories we have been told. When we witness a multiplicity of stories, it becomes easier and easier to say this: oh, I had never thought of it that way. I grew up in a house that was rich with stories, those of my family, those of the world, and I always had access to stories that I got to choose. Examples of how to live in the world, ways to expand my experiences and imagination. But I want to start here with a story about my dad's mom, my grandmother Susie, who died when I was young. This is a story my family tells a lot. Susie was in college studying engineering, and she was brilliant. It was the early 1940s, and World War II was beginning. And my precocious grandmother Susie would get up in her calculus class at university and correct the teacher's equation on the board. She was that smart. And in World War II, cycles and cycles of men were sent away, and they realized that there were going to be nobody left to build the airplanes. And so they went to the universities and they asked the best, brightest women, do you think you could train to be an aeronautical engineer right now? Because we need you. And so my grandmother, instead of finishing college, worked as an aeronautical engineer. There's been books written about these women. It's a story that lives on in many imaginations. And hearing this story regularly from my family left me with the sense that I, too, could be called to do something unexpected at an important moment in the world. It taught me some of the values of my family, that education is important, but a calling is important, too. And it also, in many ways, feels like an incomplete story, one that was left with a real-world ending. My grandmother never finished college. She and my grandfather got married in 1944 at the end of the war in Columbus, Ohio, and moved west. My grandmother would raise 4 kids, applying her ingenuity, brilliance, and skill to the difficult task of running a household. I remember puzzling over this ending, turning it over and over. What does it mean that someone so brilliant never served our world by working in a workplace? Maybe you have a story like this in your family too, one that leaves you puzzled with the ending. As a kid, I was a big reader. I still am, I guess, but when I was young, it was one of my primary identities. My dad would come home from his job at the library with a stack of books. I remember them being tall, and they were all for me, in my memory. And I would dive in. I was so excited to learn these new stories, to become immersed in different worlds. These books allowed me to imagine myself as so many different characters: brave explorers, a child transported to a magical land, those were particular favorites, or even just someone who was born into a family different than mine. I also remember being amazed that my parents were able to make up stories to tell us at bedtime. I could not imagine how they came up with these big ideas and funny plot lines. We had recurring tales, where each night a different layer of a never-ending house would be built, or an adventurous dog, freeway dog, traveled somewhere new in his car. Storytelling is inherent to humans, and our young folks get a lot of it. People around the world have long told stories, which we sometimes call myths, to explain how we came to be here on this earth, to pass our beliefs and values on to a new generation. And we are all telling stories about our lives, each day, narrating to ourselves what is happening, reflecting on our past, and convincing ourselves of what is possible in our individual and collective futures. These too are stories. But there is danger to only hearing stories like our own, or how we define ourselves currently. I think a lot about the testimony of LGBTQ+ people who read a book with a queer or LGBTQ+ character or even narrator, and are suddenly able to recognize a reflection of themselves, an authentic and genuine representation of an experience this young person or old person may never have words for. I think about the recognition by straight and cisgender people that they have learned about our world deeply through reading books with LGBTQ+ characters or narrators. When people who move outside the norms of our world are centered in our stories, our whole world expands. The movement We Need Diverse Books was founded by marginalized authors. Their mission is to diversify the publishing industry and make bookshelves everywhere more equitable, all to promote literacy, build empathy, and reduce bias. To do this, they mentor forming authors, publishing professionals, and illustrators. They bring books into classrooms, over 100,000 books so far, fight book bans, and book bans disproportionately target diverse books and authors. The American Library Association reports that in 2023, there were 414 attempts to ban books, and 1,218 titles targeted for censorship. This was just January through August. Additionally, they also report something interesting, that instances of soft censorship, where books are purchased but placed in restricted areas or not used in library displays, hidden or kept off limits due to fear of these books being challenged, illustrates the impact of organized censorship campaigns on students' and readers' freedom to read. They share that in 2023, titles representing the voices and lived experience of LGBTQIA+ and Black, Indigenous, and people of color made up 47% of those books targeted in censorship attempts. Almost half. And diversity, well, it can feel like a buzzword these days. There is so much rancid hatred by those in power about so-called diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. Maybe you've heard some of these takes. And since the Supreme Court repealed their ruling on affirmative action, anti-DEI movements have gained momentum and rallied around the United States. But kids need access to diverse stories. And schools have historically been one of the pathways to social and economic mobility, to telling a different story about one's own life. To try and relate to this, I sometimes imagine growing up in a world where there were no books with reflections of me, no stories I could place myself into. Maybe these were books with only boys as narrators. was not relatable to me as a child. Or I also think about a world where I only have access to books about cisgender and heterosexual people. I still gravitate towards stories told by and about girls and women, by and about other LGBTQ+ people. And this is not a way to limit my imagination, but to relate to these stories and expand it. It makes me feel seen, makes more feel possible. Being in community is fundamentally about witnessing, participating in and holding one another's stories. I may become a character in yours, you may become a character in mine. This is most possible when we are in church, school, or have deep friendships with one another. When the goals of diversity and equity are taken out of the equation, the stories we tell about our communities shrink. Who we are and what story we tell together often becomes true as we say it. A study by the Urban Institute on the potential consequences of banning affirmative action stated that diversity in higher education improves learning outcomes for all students, and the benefits extend beyond graduation. A ban could not only negatively affect students of color, who would be less likely to attend selective institutions, which usually have more resources and higher graduation rates, but could also prevent other students at these universities from benefiting from the perspectives and experiences that having a more diverse class brings. We lose a story. The narratives about who can and do go to college have real effects on who thinks they can go to college. When we don't see a reflection of ourselves in a particular space, we can self-select out of trying. After California banned affirmative action at public universities in 1996, more students of color with the academic qualifications to apply to the top-ranking public schools chose instead to apply to less selective institutions, despite their qualification. And so the stories that we tell about ourselves, our political situation, the direction of our country, and what we have the capacity to achieve, these ideas of possibilities in our own lives have significant impact on what we are able to substantively work toward together. One way we can be in solidarity with one another is to imagine one another across the lines of difference in the stories we tell about our world. If we cannot see role models who reflect ourselves living happy, healthy, and meaningful lives, this becomes harder. Our country is still divided and segregated meaningfully on Sunday mornings, in classrooms, in workplaces. The organization Alliance for Justice writes that even with the use of affirmative action, school segregation across all school types is as substantial a problem in 2023 as it was in the late 1960s. What drives segregation today is socioeconomic status, the intersection of race and class. And historical practices like redlining and other housing discrimination based on race created and perpetuate racially segregated neighborhoods, which have in turn produced racially segregated schools. In turn, these produce segregated communities with differing levels of access to opportunity and services. But we still hold the power to change this outcome. To cultivate empathy and solidarity is the key to this change. Ursula Le Guin writes that storytelling is dangerous to those who profit from the way things are, because it has the power to show that the way things are is not permanent, not universal, and not necessary. She goes on, we do not know our own injustice if we cannot imagine justice. We will not be free if we do not imagine freedom. And we cannot demand that anyone try to attain justice and freedom who has not had a chance to imagine them as attainable. And so I encourage you to consume stories, to be ready to witness and hold, whichever you find interesting. Learn about people different from you. Be curious about the world and the experiences of others. Speak out against censorship of books, and notice how these stories impact you. The way we all get free is together, after all, across narratives, across beliefs, across experience. One way to start is by listening, by sharing, and by building our understanding of possibility. Let's join in this work together. Amen.
Amen. Let's all rise in body and in spirit and sing, How Can I Keep From Singing? Oops, I tuned it down before.
we go forth from this place, let's go holding one another's stories with tenderness, with love, with curiosity, and with the knowledge that everything is possible. Amen.
How does the amen start?
Amen. Amen.
I need your help with the amens.
Amen. Amen. That's pretty good.
Good enough for me.
On my own, there we go. Now I'm going to need some help with the extinguishing the chalice. And I don't know, do we have that on the... It's up there. I turn around and it's magic. Alan, the magic guy in the back.
This flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we rise together again.
We have cleared off the table, the leftovers saved, washed the dishes and put them away. I have told you a story and tucked you in tight at the end of your knockabout day, as the moon sets its sails to carry you to sleep over the midnight sea. I will sing you a song no one sang to me. May it keep you good company. You can be anybody you want to be. You can love whomever you will. You can travel any country where your heart leads, and know I will love you still. You can live by yourself, you can gather friends around, you can choose one special one, and the only measure of your words and your deeds will be the love you leave behind when you're done. There are girls who grow up strong and bold. There are boys quiet and kind. Some race on ahead, some follow behind. Some go in their own way and time. Some women love women, some men love men, some raise children, some never do. You can dream all the day, never reaching the end of everything possible for you. Don't be rattled by names, by taunts, by games, but seek out spirits true. If you give your friends the best part of yourself, they will give the same back to you. You can be anybody you want to be. You can love whomever you will. You can travel any country where your heart leads, and know I will love you still. You can live by yourself, you can gather friends around, you can choose one special one, and the only measure of your words and your deeds will be the love you leave behind when you're done. And the only measure of your words, and your deeds will be the love you leave behind when you're done.
Thank you, Ashley. Incredible, the whole service. And now our worship time has ended. Our fellowship time up in the upper parish hall, fueled by coffee or whatever your choice, is ready. And thank you all for coming. Have a great week.
Lovely. Lovely, lovely. Oh, so nice. Oh, yeah. Look at us. Look at us doing a church service. Let's turn off the service. That was a good one, too.
These candles. They scare me.
They're so tall. So cute.